discussion over generative AI from last two sessions, and there are some generative AI tools that are helpful for the researchers and the even the faculties and the students. And uh, this session I have divided two parts. So we'll discuss some of the AI research tools, specifically generative AI tools that works on natural language processing. And second half we'll talk about Olama framework. Uh, this is another framework that lets you run the model locally on your system, and you can create a custom chatbot. You can create your custom LLM for your own work. So we'll discuss some of the basic things that you should know about Olama framework, and uh, how you can use that uh, in in your application development if you are uh, working towards you want to build a generative AI based tool uh, for any task. And what I was okay, so two announcements are there. One is regarding the quiz. So quiz 2 is scheduled for tomorrow from 7 p.m. to 12, so 11:59 p.m. till midnight it will be available, and so you can attempt the quiz. And the second is Monday we have uh, industry sessions. So we are going to have two industry experts that will discuss the industrial use cases of generative AI and NLP. So do not forget to join two sessions on Monday. It will be helpful and give you a industry perspective for this topic uh, related to NLP and the generative AI. Okay, so let's start with some of the research tools that are available. And since all of you, some of you might be faculties somewhere and researchers that uh, that uses and do the research in various fields. So some of the generative AI tools are available for different phases in research. For example, if you want to review article, you want to read articles, you want to understand research papers or documents, you want to understand. So for that you have a different uh, and this list is not exhaustive. So there may be more tools that are available, that and it might be possible that you know some more tools compared to me. So however, I'll give you idea about some of the tools. So Asta is one tool is there. If you want to review, analyze, and find out the relevant paper, you want to summarize the entire literature, uh, then this is one tool. And sometimes most of the summarizer that you have seen, uh, they work on a single file or single PDF summarizer. Instead of that, unlike those tools, Asta can summarize entire literature, right? So Asta is from team of Alan AI, which is basically the team behind the Semantic Scholar. So that is one tool. We are going to see the demonstration of it. Then Notebook LLM. Notebook LM is one of the tool by Google, and uh, some of you might have. It is one of the popular tools, so you some of you might know this tool. Apart from that, there is Alpha Archive is there. This is from the uh, archive team that uh, is tool for analyzing or reviewing the paper. So let's go one by one. We'll let's see about Asta. So if you go to Asta, then if you want to, so this is uh, relevant. This is I mean uh, research assistant specifically for literature understanding, and you want to find out some papers, so then you can find out the papers here. So you can describe the paper that you are looking for. For example, let's say uh, modern NLP techniques. Then if you okay, and why a specific tool related to research should be used instead of using general purpose chat GPT or Grok LLMs, which are basically used for general purpose tasks. The problem is when you find out the literature and or you ask for the literature, those LLM might hallucinate and they might create a citation or reference that does not exist. So instead of that, is you should use the task specific tools, generative AI tools. Asta is one of the tool. So now you can see here, uh, based on the paper, that topic that we have asked, it has found 38 papers that looks like perfect match, and it also show that what it has searched. And let's say if you from this article list of 38 papers, you want to, let's say, so you can see here that the notation of perfectly relevant to somewhat relevant, and so on. Other categories have been shown. So new trends, current trends, and software infrastructure for NLP. So these are the papers. You can refine your query. For example, let's say filter out the research articles from journals only. So So now it find out 36 relevant paper which you will see are from the journals only. So like social science research network and so on, frontiers in big data. So this is for the finding out the papers. You can select the papers and then you can ask relevant questions for it. Apart from finding out the relevant papers, you have generate a report also. So you can ask for particular paper. You can use at the rate to mention a particular paper, and then you can ask to generate a report. You can also analyze the data. So you can upload a data set like CSV or Excel file or JSON file, or even the Perquet file, which is column based data. So you can put that files, and uh, you can analyze the content of the data. So Astra is one of the good tool for searching out relevant papers. And since the team behind it is the same as the for the which is for the semantic scholar, so uh, it has the large database for the research articles. So this is one tool that you can use. Meanwhile, if you have any question, you can ask. Right. And there exists a lot of tools. We will discuss only those are freely available or open source. Uh, Apart from Astra, this one is the most popular uh, tool, Notebook LM. So you can create 100 notebooks for free with 50 sources you can upload for each, and each sources can have maximum uh, 500k words. So you can upload a paper, you can create an audio summary of it related to those papers. You can ask the questions like to summarize. You can generate a question and answer. Mind map you can create. Audio overview you can generate. Video also you can generate for that paper, which takes a long time, but that also you can generate. And study guide and FAQs and timeline you can do it from uh, using Notebook LM. So if I go to Notebook LM, so you can see here it is attached to your Google account, similar to the Collab and anything else. You can create a new notebook, and when you create a new notebook, here you can add sources, so you can drop your files, PDFs. Even the good part is you can upload a website link. You want to get the summary of a particular uh, lecture from YouTube. So, for example, let's say uh, NLP lecture. Let's say. So let's say this is Stanford uh, NLP lecture is there. So not only PDFs, you can give the uh, YouTube link as well to the notebook LM. So even you can give this. Let's say, for example, here I have given, and this is have been added, and then you can ask any question out of this course. For example, you can ask explain what to work uh, describe in this video. And then from the same tool, same source of information, it generates the response. And one important thing is this: the output that it has given, it has only used this uh, source of an information only. So it does not use any other source of information, uh, and it does not go beyond the information that you provided. You can uh, create a summary of it, so you don't have time to read, but to see that video of like, just give me a summary of the video lecture. So that will generate a summary of the video lecture. So let's give you summary of the video lecture, what has been discussed there. So you can ask question. If you it's videos, you want to add some papers and then you want to compare it. For example, let's say if you go to Google Scholar and let's say self attention mechanism, for example, let's say we have, so let's say these two papers, we take it, the computational complexity of the self attention. Let's download this one, and okay, why not search the same thing? So self attention computational complexity. So this we have done on the computation. So there are two papers that are there. Okay, so both are the same. Uh, okay, so this is one paper which talks about the same topic, and so let's download these two papers, and instead of reading them, let's upload the file. Uh, this one was first. This one was second. So we added these two papers, and let's remove this. Okay. So now we have added these two papers. You can unselect them, and if you want to ask the question from this too, and then you can uh, ask. For example, let's say we just ask about the first question, first paper. Uh, Summarize the main contribution of this paper in bullet points. So this summarizes the contribution of this paper. So which is one of the linear complexity that reduces the self-attention mechanism from order of n square to n square. This is one uh, contribution, and it uses low rank approximation and so on. So it has shown this. So we can ask anything. So for example, particular equation you cannot understand, you can ask regarding that. It will not go beyond that source. So, and if you have a some if you have multiple papers on the same topic, you can select multiple papers and you can compare and analyze those papers. You can also you can play around with various questions that when you read a paper that come up to your mind. And for example, a limitation of particular paper, or what are the assumptions that the research make during the uh, say in the methodology, which might not have been given, but by reading other paper it might there might be some assumptions might be there. And if you do not understand any methodology, uh, from the methodology you can ask explain Lin Former methodology in simple words with examples as well. So that will explain uh, everything. Okay. Even a simple example is also given, because, for example, there is a 10,000 sentences are there, then a standard transforms, how it works, whereas the lean form transformer, how it works. So this is how this uh, LM notebook works. It you can ask various other questions like some of the mathematical detail you did not get. Yeah, you want to ask about particular section or particular topic, you can ask. Apart from this simple chatbot where you can ask the relevant questions from the notebook LM, you can okay. So sometimes listening to a paper, it is one of the uh, great way to understand a paper. So instead of reading it, you can create an audio notebook. So it will generate an audio podcast for particular book. So you can click there, and that will generate. So it is generating audio overview, and once it will be generated, we can see and we can run and we can listen to it. So if you do not have time to read paper, you can listen uh, audio podcast that it generates about it. And it usually generate something like a podcast where two people are talking about this paper, and you can listen that audio to understand what they are discussing. So that will give you a good idea. Sometimes it is easy to understand a article or document by listening to it. There is one mind map is also there. It generates AI mind map based on your source. So this is generating a mind map. That for the source we have selected. So this mind map have been created. If you click here, you can see here that for this paper, which proposes a Lin former, you can see core innovation. What are the innovations are there? Key findings of the paper: self-attention in low rank, Johnson-Linus lemma proof is there. Model architecture uh, consists of linear projection matrices (ENF), projected keys and value layers, and a scalable projected dimension K. And then efficiency techniques. What are the techniques? Parameter sharing is there, which in turn had headwise sharing and key value sharing. Similarly, in the performance and result, it is comparable to Roberta and BERT. Significant memory saving and static inference speed up is one of the performance, and it is effective on low sequence as well. And so related work limitations. So on which it has worked, basically the research gaps on which this paper proposed. So standard transformer has order of n square uh, self attention complexity. and it uh, related works have a sparse attention, which leads to performance drop, and reformer, which has the high constant over it. And this uh, gives you overall idea about that paper what it does, and you can download that map as well. So this is one thing. Audio it is generating, we'll see the audio. You can generate the video as well, so it can generate a explainable video as well. So explainable a bit brief video is there. Visual style, you how you want to keep the visual style, and what it should focus on, so that you can mention here the what you want to do it. So, and you can generate in various languages as well. So not only English, you can generate in other languages as well. Even the Hindi you can generate. So this is generating. I'll show you the demonstration of it. So this is one tool, which is one of the uh, popular tool to analyze, compare, and paper, and most of you might know about it. And you can upload up to 50 sources here for comparison and the understanding of it. Uh, Going back to another tool which you might not know about, Alpha Archive. So Alpha Archive is it is from the maker of Archive, and you can analyze any archive paper by just changing the URL to Alpha Archive. So for example, let's say this was one of the paper was there on computation complexity of self attention. So let's see any paper. Okay, so this is there on Archive. So if you click here, usually when you click Archive paper, okay, okay, so opening. Oh, come on. Is my net gone? Am I audible? Okay. So for for example, for this archive paper, uh, you can directly open this paper in the Alpha Archive. Usually, what you do, you view the PDF and read about it. You can just change the URL from archives. Just remove the R and write Alpha Archive, and when you enter it, that will open this paper into Alpha Archive uh, window. And now you can ask any questions. You can ask about it. For example, let's say you are not getting this equation here, though it is attention network. So you can just simply select this, uh, and you can write here explain. Okay, so okay, so you can So again, generative AI tool, it is there. You can ask anything about the paper. You do not understand something, then you can just simply select it and you can ask about it. Explain this equation. Also give me a simple numerical example for this to understand. So that will explain everything about that equation and what it is doing. And if you do not understand, then it will generate a numerical example to understand it, or a simple example to understand this working example. Sometime in the paper, equation uh, might looks very complex, and you could not understand it. However, if you have an example, then you can easily figure out what exactly it is doing. So you can ask about anything. So if there is any figure, explain. So okay, explain uh, the figures in simple term. हेलो. हाँ भैया. Yes. Sorry. Okay. So these are all popular tools for reviewing the articles. And sometime when you come up with an idea and with an experiment, and with an experiment analysis, you understand, okay, so this methodology that you have proposed is working. Now you want to come up with a good architectural diagram. Then there is a diagram GPT. Though nowadays GPT based model uh, are also added functionality of creating image. Even Gemini has a good tool, Go Banana, to generate images. However, if you specifically looking for block diagram, phase diagram type of diagram, so there is diagram GPT is there. This is also for some uses, it is free. You can describe what diagram you want to create. For example, let's say if I write uh, generate a three-phase diagram of compiler, and explain it more. For example, let's say you want to so uh, the more you explain, then more the diagram will be uh, more relevant to your need. First phase is, let's say, token generation. and parsing. Second phase is intermediate code generation. Third phase is code optimization. So once you click generate, uh, it is awaiting output. So this will generate. So meanwhile, here if you see audio podcast has been generated, and if you run this, so this is you can see here two people's having podcast for corresponding that paper, so you can understand by listening it as well. And okay, so you can use diagram GPT as well. So I've exceeded the limit, so you can use it for creating diagram on your own. Nowadays, even Chat GPT and the so GPT model and Gemini has a good tool for generating an image. There are other tools like Replit is there. Sometimes in your research, you want to create an app that can use to create a you want to create an use for data collection or some any other purpose. You want to create an application. You can use Replit, and Replit you there are some free apps are available that you can use it. You can write it and you can use it. And it will create a end-to-end system based on your prompt and what app you want to create, and it will give you app and you can automatically deploy it. uh, if you have observed nowadays, so this uh, after making this ppt, so this I've also come up with one other tool. If you go to the chat gpt, there from gpt there is one tool called codex is there. So if you go to Codex, this also a generative AI tool, and you can write it prompts to even create code and application, full application as well. So we'll see a demo of it when I'll talk about Olama. So demonstration of Replit, instead of Replit, we'll see the demonstration of Codex, which is one of the new tool. And without writing any code, if you can write a good prompt, it will generate the whole code as well. And for research paper writing, you all must have aware about overleaf. Uh, in the overleaf as well, if you go to overleaf, and you will find out uh, generative AI. LLM integration is there as well. So for example, mm, okay, so blank. So if you see here, this is a blank uh, diagram, and what when you usually write a research article, you write a different section of it, and you for PDFs, for tables and figures, you write different blocks of code like begin figure, begin table, and so on. And sometimes the mathematical equations, it is not easy to write. So there is an integration of chatbot as well. So you can write full toolbar is there. Uh, it is there. If you click here, that then you can see here there is an AI assistant for latex writing as well, and you can set. So this is, you can see, you can select particular model, GPT model, output model, and so on. So even here you can ask text GPT, which is integrated in there. So write code to add image, uh, name, uh, architecture, GPG uh, in in the in the paper. It should be appear on the top. So when you top of the page. So when you write when you so see here, it has given you the corresponding code for it. So you do not have to actually write this code. You can just ask the text GPT, and that gives you the code. You can directly insert it, or you can copy it and you can insert it anywhere else you want to ask. You can, I mean, you can ask to write a equation syntax. So you do not have to actually learn the syntax or remember the syntax for latex, right? For bibliography style, you ask, and that text GPT will do it. So nowadays, generative AI in form of LLM is everywhere in your research uh, article as well, right? So if you just insert it, that inserts there. Though where we want to insert it, you can put the mark there, and then you can insert. So that is one example. Uh, Now we'll talk about one of the generative AI framework. Before this lecture, Mayank has given you overview of LMS Studio uh, for creating large language model applications. Olama is one of the framework which is an open source tool, and it is used for running and managing LLMs locally. So uh, there are other ways to use those large language models, pretend large language models. One is the Hugging Face or LangChain framework is there. Uh, what Olama does, in Olama you can download the LLM locally, and even if the internet is there, internet is not there, uh, you can uh, use LLM locally on your premises. So privacy is one of the key benefit of using Olama, which runs model on your hardware, and you can fine tune models for a specific task, and you can use a simple CLI and API for developers. Command line interface is there, An API is also there for developers, then they can use for developing a code, right? So if you want to download the Olama, you can go to the uh, Olama website, and that also writes start building with open models. So you can download it. Once it is download, so Olama also works as a server, and if you want it, so that you can make request to the Olama server by uh, sending the request to HTTP endpoints, which uh, is there on the port number 11434. So if you run localhost port 434, if Olama is running, if you see this, then Olama is installed. So once you install it, you can just check whether server is running or not, right? So, and it supports various models. So you can see here from different families, gamma family is there, 1 billion, 4 billion parameter model is there, and there are different size. For 1 billion you have 8 15 MB, 3.3 GB, and so on. Even DeepSeek models it supports. So depending on the size and Llama models, it support. So if you based on infrastructure available on your system, you can use particular model for it. And on CLI, command line interface, it is quite easy to use. So there are two basic simple commands are there. So if you go to terminal, so if you want to check whether Olama is running or not, so you can simply write Olama, then it gives you the version that it is there. And so Olama supports various model, and if you want to download it on your system, you have to uh, write a command called Olama pull, and you can write particular model name for pulling it out. For example, let's say on laptop, let's say let's just uh, pull a small model, gamma 3 1 billion. So once you write this, it pulls the image, pulls the model in your system, and once it is downloaded, now it exists on your system only. So if you write Olama list, so that will give you a list of models that are there on your system. So gamma 3 1 billion is there, and to run any model, uh, you can simply write Olama run and the model name. So now the model is running, and you can ask any questions here. For example, uh, explain uh, rack based model like this. So that is generating the response, and it's working similar to the other LM models. Like, so you can go to the doc, and you can run other uh, if you want to install it, if you want to, let's say, so this models you can use it inside your uh, Python program as well as a client. So you can make a client that sends a request to the Olama server, and that Olama server which is running locally on your system or a local server, and the model that is there locally, it is generating response from there. So to make a request, so you provide the client and the header, and you put the message. So, and for local only, can you can run the on local as well. So why not, let me give you an example of it by running some code, right? So let me uh, run it. So meanwhile it is opening, you can, if you have any question, you can ask. Okay, let's create a new Python file. So since Olama is also working as a server, we'll write a simple Python code that uh, sends the request to the server and get the response. So for that, to use Olama, you have to write import Olama, and once it is imported, let's try catch block. So let's get the response using Olama dot generate. So from generate method, you can generate the response from Olama, and that takes two things. One is the model name. So model that we have downloaded, gamma 3 1 billion, and you can write your prompt. So that basically the prompt, your, for example, the same uh, explain. Okay, so define NLP in 3 sentences. So this is your that will run and will give you the response, and you can print this response here. That will generate uh, a response having other metadata information is as well. So we are just taking the response from it, and if it doesn't work, then let's simply throw the exception, catch the exception, and print error in communicating the with the ulama. Okay, so that's it. Okay, and let's print the. Okay, so if you run this, no module name ulama, so let's uh, install it. So we have to write pip install ulama. And let's. I thought I've installed the llamas and then it is accessible everywhere. So in this environment, it is not accessible. So we are installing in this environment. So it is running. Now it is installed. So uh, now it is running, and see here. So it has generated the model, generated the response. If you have written a model which is not there in your local system, then it will throw you an error. So you have to check whether you have downloaded that model before running it or not. You can also create a streaming response as well. So instead of writing here, uh, right now it has generated whole response at once. So if you just give here comma stream is equal to true, then okay. So I don't know why it is not working. So let's uh, leave it there. You can create a simple chatbot as well using Olama. And let's mix the one other generative AI tool that I was discussing about the Codex. So Codex, you can download it there, and you can write create any app using Codex. So let me uh, you can write here, for example, uh, and that will create a whole app in your system without writing any single line of code, and then you can run it and check whether it is working or not. Create a simple Python uh, chatbot using Olama framework. Simple with mini GUI, and this should use uh, Gamma 3 1 billion model for response generation. So if you ask this to Codex, it will that can integrate with the Visual Studio Code as well, so that uh, and I found out recently this is one of the most powerful tool for writing codes. There are other as well, but so it is generating one. It has generated one uh, chatbot demo. I'll show you. Uh, this was it has generated with simple a Python application file and a configuration file. So that configuration file you can mention what is the model here. So earlier it has generated using Llama 3.2. I can uh, mention Gamma 3 1 billion. This is I've updated the configuration file, and this app.py file is there, which is a simple Flask-based application is there, which on HTTP get response render index.html with application name and the Olama model, and there is a chat uh, for chat endpoint. There is another function which is generate the response for this. So here in the statics you can see the index.html. So this every file it is generated by the codex, and if I want to run it, simply run this Python. So it has also created Python app.py. So if you see uh, it is running, and now if you go to this uh, see here, it has created one simple chatbot for you, and you can write, for example, uh, write the different phases of uh, NLP, and this model is thinking, and model has generated response. And you can ask another question as well. So you can see here with the minimal code, uh, with no coding, Codex helps you to write the code. It can update your files, and if there is an error, you can ask for this error and explain for the explanation, and then Codex will again goes and read that file and update that file, and it tells you which files it has updated. So Codex is another tool to write the uh, code for it. So Any question till this point of time? Do you have any questions? Uh, so so if there is no question, then I hope I'll end this session here. Just an announcement again. Tomorrow you have a quiz too, and uh, topics will be from sequence modeling, where RNA and LSTM and other models and transformers, and the uh, basic generative array. So that's it from my side for today's session. If you have any question, I'm waiting here for 5 minutes. If you have any question, you can write it on the chat. Okay, so there's no session tomorrow since it is a Sunday. We have two industry sessions on Monday, uh, 2 to 4 and 4 to 6. And then towards the end, we'll have a valedictory session for this FDP. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm ending the session here.